Okay, I wanted to make a video about stoves. And as you can see, I got quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even got this one 7, but I'll explain this. Now, over time, when you hike, you just end up picking up stoves. And they all have a different purpose. Now, this one here in the middle that I'm playing with, that's connected to this red bottle, is a multi-fuel stove, is what it is. But let me turn some of these off. And I will explain them. Figures that one goes the opposite way. Turn the light back on. Now, this particular stove is called the Primus Omni Lite Titanium. And this thing works the best out of all my stoves. It has extremely delicate turning on. Now, the only problem this stove has is when you first light it, it's going to have fuel come out of it. You don't want to light this in a tent. Oh, you'll have a problem. You'll burn that tent down. I guarantee it. Now, once it heats up, okay, which takes about a minute, then it works great. It doesn't burn it doesn't leak fuel everywhere, is what it does. You can also hear how quiet that is. Now, this stove has many parts to it, okay? But it'll burn kerosene. It'll burn gasoline, diesel, aviation fuel. It's a multi-fuel stove, and it burns everything. So, this would be my go-to stove in an SHTF situation. This would go in the pack. Okay, because now I'm not dependent on butane. You know, I can find a car, get some gas out of it, and now off I go. But it's not cheap. A multi-fuel stove is extremely expensive. Very expensive. Like, this has a silencer on it, which is in the center. That cost around $70. It also has a windscreen I don't have out, which is $17. The Stovepaw, which is the base that it's on to hold it in place, is $60, which gives you a grand total by the time you're done, okay, $375.85. It's a $400 stove. I bought this extra, and I couldn't get it in US. I had to buy it off eBay, and it had to come from UK. And it's because I like the color. So it gives me extra fuel. I can pop the top off of this one, put it on this one, or just pour that in there, or whatever. You can buy these in different sizes too from Primus. Now, the other nice thing about this multi-fuel stove, it's all titanium. So it's the lightest multi-fuel stove going. And I'm trying to remember. See, right turns it down and left turns it up. Now, it also comes with a tool and extra parts in case this thing breaks. If this stove breaks, you can fix it yourself. You can fix it right out in the field. Like, I do have extra parts, extra pieces like I carry with this. So if I'm out hiking, I've got my tent set up, I go to light this and it don't light, I could light it with these cylinders. I could light it with the fuel that's in here. And I can actually fix it on the fly. It's a beautiful stove. The only thing that sucks about this stove is when you first light it. It takes time for that to heat up inside. And you'll see a little fuel come out. But other than that, it's a great stove. Now, the SOTO Windmaster stove, which is this one right here. Okay. This is the SOTO Windmaster stove. It's a Japan company. The head is quite large, if you can see. And these actually go in for smaller pots, if you want, like so. Okay. This does have a windshield to it. I mean, if you look close, all the way around has a little bit of a windshield to keep it pretty stable. But you can buy extra. You can buy a windshield for this thing by other people that make them. Now, the lightest stove out of all this is this one. This is a titanium stove. It is the lightest out of them all. But it doesn't have a really great flame. It'll boil water quickly, but it's not going to do anything else. These are kind of, I don't know. But if you're going for weight, this packs up quick, and it's not much money. I think it's like 16 bucks or something. I do have a windshield coming in from this. I ordered from the Alibaba site or whatever. It's going to take 2 weeks to get here. But I do have a windshield coming in for this one. So, that's nice. Now, the other thing, okay, this one here is a Snow Peak Light Max Titanium. Runs about 50 bucks. Okay? This weighs 2 ounces, this stove. And again, if I can get it to do it, these are really stiff. These flip over too. But it didn't shorten it any. So I guess when you pull it out, it's for a bigger pot. And to be honest with you, I've heard of even people trying to drill those out and take them off because really, I don't know why they think they need them. Is what it is. This doesn't have an igniter. Okay, like, who has an igniter? SOTO has an igniter on it. And this one here, this cheapy one, has an igniter on it. You're going to find igniters break in time. They really do. Let me turn that off. And I definitely need to clean this. It's pretty dirty. But now this stove, which is this one here, okay, and you're like, why do you got 2 of them? Like, what's the point of that? This is like, I don't know, the cheapest stove you can buy. Okay? This thing costs like 8 bucks. That's it, $8. This is a cheap stove, and it does work, and it has its own igniter. This one's been used quite a bit. It's all black. When I took this one, and this is before I had all these other ones, when I took this one, I took 2. I bought 2 of them. And I figured one breaks, I got one as a backup. Because it was such a cheap stove, I would take 2. So, and I'll have some links in the bottom for some of these stoves if you want to pick one up. If you want a stove that you never have to worry about, you want the Primus, the one for 400 bucks, this one. That's the one you want. Now, the second one I would go with, okay, I would go with this one, the SOTO. Let me tell you a little story about SOTO. I bought the SOTO, I don't know, it was like 6 years ago. And I had it about 6 months, and it broke. And then I threw it in the garbage. I was so pissed off. So I was looking around for another backpacking stove, and then I found this one. Snow Peak Titanium. weighs 2 ounces. So I watched some videos on this one, and all of a sudden YouTube started recommending videos for this one, the SOTO. And it kept making me angry. Oh, more angry. I finally got pissed off and actually emailed SOTO and sent them my receipt of, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago out of Amazon, and said this thing's garbage, it broke, and I threw it away because I didn't have anything to send in to them. They immediately said how sorry they were. They sent me a brand new stove for free and a titanium cup. So warranty on this is amazing. SOTO's an amazing company after I seen that. You know, they could have said, oh, it's been too many years. They didn't. The other good company is Snow Peak, this one here. Okay? Snow Peaks are guaranteed for life. They sell another one that's not titanium, that's a little bit cheaper. And that's a great stove too. And I'll have a link to both of these. But these two companies, they rock. Now Primus, same thing. Great warranty, great care in making it. So 1, 2, 3 companies that are great. Okay? This one, it just turned up today. I didn't even know I had this one. This is an MSR. I've used it because it's all black, but I haven't used it in a while. I don't know about this one. I haven't used it enough. Okay? But again, these stoves, this one don't have an automatic ignition. You know, but it does light pretty easy. Now there's no wind protection with this whatsoever. With these two stoves, I have wind protection. With this, I put a big silver thing around it. So, it lights pretty good. Now, this stove, that's like $16, which is a BRS stove, and it's probably the lightest out of all of them. I have a wind thing coming in for that. But when you put these things around these stoves to protect against the wind, you have to understand something. You don't want to put something around this tank. You don't want this tank heating up. It'll explode. A lot of your wind protections will sit around here, but not near the tank whatsoever. Okay? This one here, the Primus, you'll notice the tank's way over here, away from this. Okay? So when you can put something all the way around this, and you're fine. A lot of people will put their pack down and then put their stove in front of the pack and then light their stove from there. Never light a stove inside a tent. You'll see a lot of people doing videos on YouTube and they'll light a stove. If I light this stove in a tent, I'm going to tell you, you're going to burn your tent down. This thing leaks fuel until you get it going. And that's just all there is to it. Now, a lot of these others run pretty good, and a lot of people start their little stoves inside their tent because it's raining. Because they're scared to get wet, I guess. They want to cook where it's not raining. I gotta tell you right now, it's dangerous. If you want to cook with something over your head, then I would suggest you bring a small tarp or something. Something away from your tent. And the other thing is, I don't know why people cook near their tent. That is the stupidest thing you can do, especially if you're in bear country. Or coyotes, or whatever you're not going to want to meet. Okay, when I cook a meal, it's quite a ways from my tent. You know, I have a cooking station way over there, and then my tent's way over here. No food comes to my tent. No cooking near my tent. Okay, so if all of a sudden an animal shows up, a raccoon, a possum, something, you'll hear them, and usually they're over by where I cooked. I didn't wash the dishes, I got lazy, and I could hear something over there messing with my titanium pots. I hit it with the light, and sure enough, something's over there. You don't want to make yourself a treat to a bear. And that's all there is to it. But I would go with the Primus stove for almost $400 if you want a best stove for SHTF situation. I would use these two. I would go with Snow Peak or the SOTO stove. SOTO has a much wider area, where you take this one here, it's a very small area. Okay, the BRS. Now, that's important. Titanium, if you have titanium pots, if you're cooking on a big pot, for example, and your flame is hitting on this side, you can later touch your finger on the other side. It's only heating up that spot with this particular stove. With the SOTO stove, because this head is so wide, you're heating up more of the bottom of the stove, and it's extremely controllable. Okay? Now, this one here, the Snow Peak, is not as wide, but this has wind protections in it already, is what it has. So, you have to decide, the MRS is probably the same size head as this one. You have to decide what you're actually going with. And you got to understand this is only a couple ounces, where this one weighs a lot more. But nobody can say, they should have one. People that don't have one are just dummies. Okay? Even if you're broke. Like I said, these are $8. I mean, how can you go wrong for $8? It makes no sense. And yes, it's a very expensive stove. By the time you get into it, it's like $400. But it's going to last you a lifetime. Heck, your kids will have it. And that's all there is to it. And you don't have to buy it all at once. You can buy just the stove with the bottle for like $220. And then you can add to it. You can buy the thing that holds the bottom for another $16. You can buy the thing that goes around later. You buy it in pieces, not all at one time. So it all depends what you do. You can go super cheap. This will boil your water. $8. It'll boil your water. This one here, $16. It'll boil your water. They all do the same thing. But the bigger the head, like this one, it allows me to really adjust. Now you take, for example, these fold in, okay? And now look at that bottom. I can put a small cup on that, right? So that's really nice that SOTO did that. Now you look at this one, the titanium one from Snow Peak. These fold in, but they don't go all the way in. Like, they don't go all the way in here where I could put a small, small pot. Which to me was kind of stupid what they did there. So, but I'll have links in the bottom. If you're in the market for a stove, you really can't go wrong with any of them. They all work fine. I mean, if you want a wider head, go with the SOTO. It makes it easier if you're cooking on titanium. Or if you want something like 2 ounces with a nice wind protection and a head, then go with the Snow Peak. MRS doesn't look too bad. That folds down. That actually folds all down if you're looking for more compactness. If you're looking for super light, then the BRS is the way to go. So, this is a small collection of stoves I have. Now, I always take 2 stoves when I go. Like, I'll take the Snow Peak one, and I'll take the SOTO one. I usually take both when I go. So, I've always got 2 stoves with me. Even if I take this one, for example, I may throw the BRS in there also as a backup, which weighs an ounce maybe. I mean, to me, it just makes sense to have some backup. But there is a big difference between a multi-fuel stove and all these other ones that use butane. I'll have some links in the bottom if you like the looks of any of these, and I'll put what needs to go with them so you don't have to actually think about it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.